Please.
Yes.
Yeah. Last time also when we discussed, you talked something about Richard Bandler and you talked about, I think,
Thaler, nudge theory.
yeah. So since I do not have, and most of the people will not have, is it important for us to know all those things or get delve into them later after we have heard you to understand and practice it? Or whatever is.
Absolutely. It is absolutely essential that you understand it. Because you see, I'll tell you one thing. How have we learned all these days? And what are the difficulties in the current setup? A teacher used to stand at the head of the class, deliver a lecture. And you are tested at the end of the year on how much you could remember it, right? In fact, Bloom's taxonomy starts here. The history of Bloom's taxonomy, I think you people know that in 1949, a committee was formed to create a curriculum for education. From 1949 to 53, that committee worked. Benjamin Bloom was the head of that committee. And the taxonomy of learning, which they arrived at, is what is called Bloom's taxonomy. It started at its first step, what is called remembering. Whatever is taught to you, you have to remember it. That is the first step. The second step is understanding. So you now remember, the teacher will test you to see whether you have understood what you have. The third step is apply. Whatever you have understood, are you in a position to apply? Why I am telling this, I will tell you. The fourth step is analyze. After applying, you analyze. The fifth step is evaluate. And the sixth step is create. Now, in what wisdom it was created, I don't want to go into it. But the problem became that in most schools, education did not cross even the first step. The teacher teaches you. The examination is all about rote learning and reproducing, replicating it in the examination. So when do you go on to the second step? How do you check the understanding? Now, in many colleges and universities where they practice this understanding, they do a lot of activities and hands-on projects and group discussions and other things. They came to understand. At best, they graduated to understand at that stage. Where is apply? Apply was left as a technical skill where technical training brought in application. So you started having all these diploma courses and, all sorts of institutes and everything where skill was imparted. The unfortunate part of it is, it got started looking at, people started looking at it as skill set. Where do you get the chance to analyze? Analyze was left to the intelligentsia who are doing the doctorates. Now, who will do the evaluate? Nobody. Evaluation in most cases was practiced by the teachers and the leaders in terms of how well you could remember. Your intelligence was never evaluated. And creative became the exclusive domain of the innovators and inventors. So you see, whatever great thought Benjamin Bloom and the committee had already fallen flat. The world kept on moving on a wrong path. You can see all around you the effect of it. What is the effect of it? You get educated in something, you work in something else. Is that education? You have a particular skill set, it doesn't match the corporate requirement. You become disconnected, disengaged. Gallup poll says only 15 to 17% of the employees are engaged. Just imagine. From the age of approximately 22, 23 till the age of 60, you're working. That means you are spending a major portion of your productive, healthy life working, and there is dissatisfaction. 87% of the people are dissatisfied, disengaged during that period of their life. Can you imagine what it does? Every day you drag yourself to office. Somehow or the other you want to spend your time. Drag yourself back home. The outcome is you know that you're not doing your job to your fullest extent. The world might know or not, but you know. And what does that lead to? It leads to severe instability in your mind, severe insecurity in your mind, severe dissatisfaction in your life. And that dissatisfaction, insecurity, instability spills over to the family, and you have a sad, unhappy society. All this evolves because of a faulty educational system. In 2007, Marzano and Kendall, it was in 1990 that functional magnetic resonance imaging came into being. And approximately, I think 63, points, 63 readings per second were taken from about 13 centers in the brain, leading to about 1,400 and odd, or something like that. I don't remember exactly those figures, but approximately in an hour, you are getting more than a minute, you are getting more than 43,000 odd readings from the brain. When they did that, they realized that cognition is entirely different than what these people thought. They realize that all knowledge is already present there in the form of potential knowledge, knowledge which you're going to gather in the future, active current knowledge with which you are operating, genetic knowledge which has come to you through the ages. So all that you had to do was retrieve it. That is why cognitive science, taxonomy of cognitive learning begins with the word retrieval. Once you retrieve all the information necessary, you comprehend it, you don't understand it. You see how it all gels into a knowledge unit. And the third is analysis. You analyze it. It is at that stage you realize what is the knowledge repository that you are working with. So the fourth stage is knowledge understanding. The moment you understand your knowledge repository, you start thinking about it. That is what is called metacognition. You start thinking about what you are thinking. You start analyzing your thought process. You start understanding the train of thought, the chain of thought, and where it is leading you. At that stage comes self-system, where you decide whether you want to take this path or not, or whether you would rather drop it and move on to something better. This is where motivation comes in. It is at the self-system stage that motivation comes in. This is the taxonomy of cognitive learning. You are asking me about meta-learning, right? Learning by yourself. How is implicit learning linked to meta-learning? Implicit learning is learning without your being consciously aware that you're learning. When you're driving a car, you don't know that you are learning to drive a car. While you know you are going to drive, you are going to learn to drive a car, but the process is very complicated and it looks extremely difficult for you. You don't even know when you have learned it. Suddenly one day you get into the car, go to the office, come back and suddenly realize that you have done this whole thing as a matter of automaticity and you didn't even think about it. All learning is meta learning.
Now, I think from a trainer's perspective, the concept of meta learning is going to be very important because they are going to act as trainers and they're going to act as coaches. So they need to understand the process.
To explain this to you, you asked a question that what other question you asked? Something about restricting yourself to your niche market, niche subject.
Yes. So trainers advising that it's better to stick with your niche.
See, there are two. See, 99.99
area of expertise from a training perspective.
99.99 reckoning percent of the people who are going by the name of trainers are not trainers, they are presenters. There's a huge difference between presenting and training.
Yep.
Training brings about a transformation in the stage. Presentation will at best impart information or confirm already known information. So what is training? There are two types of training. Let me take Vaidishwaran as an example. Vaidishwaran is an instructional designer. He can give technical training on instructional design subjects, on all matters concerning instructional design. He's a subject matter expert and he can train people. When he imparts that training and brings a transformation in you, he is a technical trainer. But if he were to train people on things which are not related to instructional designing, how will he do that? Will anyone of you answer me? Supposing, let us say, Vaidishwaran has to give a training on value chain analysis. How do you do that? I would like either Atul or Nitika or Suma or Tasneem to answer.
Because he understands the way people understand, the way people have to be told step by step in a logical manner because of the way, because of the background he has. So he will read it and then actually he will explain in a matter that he would have also learned in the process. So like typically what we say about consultants, they do not know anything, they learn and then they actually get paid also. While they are learning and deploying, they get paid in the process.
But and consultants handle their area of expertise only. A consultant will not go and train a doctor. A business process consultant will not go and train a doctor.
Yes, yes.
A business process consultant will not train an advocate. Yes, Suma.
As Atul said, if the subject matter is not in his domain or he's not a subject matter expert of that particular topic, he or she will actually, go understand from a layman's point of view only and then deliver. I don't think so.
So let us assume you are talking about business process to a group of people who are business process experts.
Okay.
To your chief executive of a company, you are doing a training program. There are 20 chief executives of companies there. Then what happens?
That's where the challenge begins, no, sir. The real challenge begins there. It's a complete mismatch. The person who doesn't know goes and starts talking about it, and it's a spot on. He or she gets caught, and what happens is because of few things, the whole training industry is considered as they don't know anything. They just come and deliver that is what happens.
Arun sir, now do you see?
I want to answer.
See how pertinent that question
is. Yes, wait, Mikey, wait.
I want to answer.
Yes. You know the
Someone-
answer because I gave you today afternoon, but don't tell me. Yeah.
I don't know the answer, he knows, but I will
Yeah.
talk about what I experienced in business process outsourcing. We used to handle processes of organizations who knew exactly how the processes are run. They were the subject matter expertise. We were
So
very
forget
clear.
it. I'm telling, supposing,
Soft
let
skill
us
and hard
say,
skill are different.
Nitika, so let us say, Vaiti has to give a training program on open heart surgery. Now are we in a safe ground?
If he is explaining the hard skill, then I don't think it is fair. But if it is only tools and soft skill, it is fair. It's not a fair game
Trainer
anymore.
is a trainer, Nitika. That's precisely what I'm trying to tell you.
Nitika, just FYI, I have designed training programs for open heart surgeries. Just FYI,
I'm telling
I
you,
have.
supposing, let us say, open heart surgery. You see, if you are a trainer, you will have two types of training up your sleeve. One is called the technical training. You